Russia will invade Turkey to reunite Eastern and Western Rome. Protests in Turkey as Erdogan rival jailed. Massive protests and unrest have shaken Turkey following President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's arrest of his main political rival, Ekrem İmamoğlu. This move has sparked nationwide demonstrations, leading to increased tensions and instability in the region. Erdogan first came to power as prime minister in 2003, serving until 2014, when he became president. His grip on power has been marked by increasing authoritarianism. The BBC notes, Erdogan has been in power for more than 2 decades, first as prime minister, then as president from 2014. He cannot run again for the presidency after 2028 unless he changes Turkey's constitution. The latest protests erupted after İmamoğlu, a strong contender for the opposition Republican People's Party, CHP, was stripped of his university degree and arrested. Under Turkish law, this disqualifies him from securing the nomination or presidency. Journalists covering the events have also faced arrest and intimidation. Turkey is now at a crossroads. The Arab Center Washington, D.C. comments, Turkey now stands at a critical make-or-break moment. The opposition clearly recognizes that these actions aim to fundamentally change the nature of the political system. The coming weeks will determine whether Turkey preserves its remaining democratic features or completes its transition to authoritarianism. The stakes could not be higher for Turkish democracy and the broader region. This internal crisis comes at a time of growing geopolitical tensions between Turkey and Russia, with significant implications for Ukraine, Syria, and Israel. Turkey and Russia, a history of tensions. Turkey has played a key role in the Ukraine-Russia conflict, supplying Ukraine with military aid while simultaneously negotiating between the warring parties. Russia and Turkey have also clashed in Libya, Syria, and the Caucasus. The Hudson Institute explains, for Ankara, Ukraine is not an isolated conflict. It is part of a broader geopolitical contest with Moscow. Turkey and Russia have clashed across multiple fronts, from Libya to Syria to the Caucasus. The Ankara-Moscow dynamic is a multi-theater balancing act, cooperative when convenient, combative when required. A pivotal moment in this rivalry came when Erdogan supported rebel factions in Syria against the Russian-backed Assad regime. This led to tensions between Russia and Turkey, as well as strategic shifts in the Middle East. The Jerusalem Post describes Turkey's position in Syria. This unexpected outcome has made Turkey pivotal in determining Syria's future, presenting both significant opportunities and formidable challenges. Additionally, Turkey's stance against Israel has drawn criticism. Erdogan condemned Israel's actions in Gaza, declaring, "The Zionist regime has once again shown that it is a terror state that feeds on the blood, lives, and tears of the innocent." Israel National News. Israel, in turn, has conducted military operations against Hezbollah and Iranian-backed forces in Syria, further complicating the regional balance. The prophetic future of Turkey. The Bible offers insight into Turkey's destiny, particularly in the prophecies of Ezekiel, Daniel, and Revelation. The 4 angels bound at the Euphrates. Revelation 9:14-16 states, "Release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." And the 4 angels who had been prepared for the hour and day and month and year were released so that they would kill 1/3 of mankind. This passage suggests that a major military conflict centered around the Euphrates River, modern-day Turkey, will unfold in the last days. The king of the north moves against Turkey. Daniel 11:40-45 describes a military invasion. At the time of the end, the king of the south shall attack him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots, horsemen, and with many ships, and he shall enter the countries, overwhelm them, and pass through. This prophecy speaks of a powerful northern ruler, historically associated with Russia, launching an invasion that overwhelms many nations, including Turkey. Ezekiel 38, the invasion of Gog and Magog. Ezekiel 38, 2-6 describes an invasion led by Gog of the land of Magog, identified by many scholars as Russia. Son of man, set your face against Gog of the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Prophesy against him. Persia, Cush, and Put will be with them, all with shields and helmets. Gomer with all its troops, and Beth Togarmah from the far north with all its troops. Beth Togarma, historically associated with Turkey, is mentioned as part of a coalition involving Russia. This suggests Turkey's strategic role in the coming war. Russia will take Constantinople despite Turkey's aspirations to revive Ottoman influence. Biblical prophecy indicates that Russia will eventually take control of Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul. This would symbolically reunite Eastern and Western Rome, fulfilling historical ambitions dating back to the Byzantine Empire. Russian Orthodox thinkers have long seen Constantinople as the rightful center of Eastern Christendom. Some Russian nationalists even view it as their destiny to reclaim the city from Turkish rule. A conflict between Turkey and Russia would also reshape NATO and Europe. If Turkey is invaded, its NATO membership could trigger a wider war. Or alternatively, Turkey's increasing authoritarianism could lead to its expulsion from NATO, leaving it vulnerable to Russian aggression. Conclusion. The arrest of Erdogan's rival and the ensuing protests are pushing Turkey toward greater instability. As Turkey continues to clash with Russia in Ukraine, Syria, and Libya, biblical prophecy suggests that Russia will ultimately invade Turkey. This invasion will not only change the balance of power in the Middle East, but will also fulfill ancient prophecies about the end times. Turkey may dream of a neo-Ottoman revival, but scripture points to a different future. One where Russia moves to reunite the territories of Eastern and Western Rome, reshaping history in the process.